Hello, everybody. Welcome to This is the Thread. Chris Lazar here. It's been a while since I last posted, I know. And for the very few people who are following, I was doing a little bit of a series on cell phones, radiation, health effects, and I still will continue with that. But today I'm doing a little bit of a deviation, a little bit of a improvisation here episode. It's here late at night, almost midnight here on Eastern Standard Time in the United States of America. And I'm just here in my basement. My family is asleep. And I wanted to do a little bit of an improvisation. Shout out to the Rams and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I picked the Patriots to win. I picked the Saints. So, hey, both away teams won today. Both one seeds. Yeah, lost. Both overtime games. Great games. Shout out to the Rams and Pats. Rams. Kudos to them. Brady's the GOAT. Michigan man. I don't know who I want to win. It's a pretty cool matchup. Um, Goff, Brady, young, old. McVay, Belichick, young, old. You know, I don't know who I want to win in this situation. Part of me is just like, you know what? I just want the Pats to win. Like, let's just set records at this point. Come on. But then another part of me is like, yeah, you know what? The Rams would be cool. Rams would be cool. Cool story. Young coach. New team in LA. I'm sure the NFL wants that too. The NFL would love LA to have a Super Bowl. I'm sure. That is not what I wanted to talk about today, though. I kind of wanted to tell everybody about a situation that happened to me very recently. I told a couple people, I told my family, a very interesting situation. Last Sunday, I walked over. There's a Barnes and Noble bookstore by my house. And I walked over to the Barnes and Noble. And you know what? I was just going there just to see what's up. I kind of like going in there, just kind of browsing through the books. I don't really buy too many books whenever I go in there. I do try to utilize the library more, but I like to go in there, just browse through like the books that interest me, business books, motivational books, finance books, stuff like that. See if there's any women in there. I actually did ask out one girl that worked there. It was funny. I actually did ask her out, and we did go out on a date. It was okay. She was uh, not my type really, but it was interesting. So yeah, I see what's up. See who's in there. See who who could meet, who you could strike up a conversation with. Turns out this was one of those days again. I was in the business book section. I was looking through the books, and a woman comes up to me and asks me, "Hey, do you have any recommendations?" She's looking through the books too, and I had to kind of pause for a second, think, because it kind of caught me a little off guard. Like, oh, well, I like this book, and I think I pointed to Stephen Covey's book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. But I said that I was reading one of his books called First Things First, which is, I don't think it's as popular as Seven Habits. Seven Habits was like the bestseller. Lots of people know it. But I'm reading First Things First. She says, oh, okay, that's interesting. Do you read a lot of these books? And I said, yeah, I like these kinds of books. And she pointed to a couple. I think she pointed to like The Compound Effect. And I was like, oh, yeah, I read that by Darren Hardy. She pointed to The One Thing. by Gary Keller. And I was like, oh, yeah, 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 I read that. So we got kind of a laugh. It seemed like every book she pointed to, I read. She recommended John C. Maxwell to me, who I've heard of before, but I haven't read any of his stuff. But yeah, it looks interesting. So we got to talking a little more. She asked me kind of what I do. I kind of told her a little bit, like, oh yeah, I work at a health insurance company. I used to be in beverage sales rep, and I told her about stand up comedy because she was asking me like what I wanted to do in life because I was in the business book section, and she was she had asked me like, you read these books a lot, and I said yes because I need them. I need these kinds of books because I'm trying to do more with my life. And I told her about the comedy thing. She did mention that she was a school teacher, um, and she had a husband. So I wasn't like trying to hit on her. you know, I wasn't trying to hit on her. At this point, I'm like really interested that she started this conversation with me. And it like went on for a little bit. This was like a few minute conversation. We were completely engaged at this point. I wasn't breaking away. She wasn't leaving at all. She mentioned she had a husband, and she mentioned something. This is where it starts getting interesting. Her and her husband have this relationship with, I'm going to call it a mentor. They're mentors. And their mentors help them out financially to get them set for later in life. This is kind of how she put it. And that it really helped them a lot. At this point, the husband comes over. I meet the husband. Husband's a very nice guy. She was really nice too. And then I'm getting ready. At this point, the conversation's kind of starting to wind down. We're kind of getting ready to disengage here, disengage from each other. And the wife throws out this question. This is like exactly how she puts it. She says, hey, I wanted to ask you, are you all set in life? And I didn't even, I did mention this. I asked her, like, oh, do you mean like work wise, or what do you mean? She says, oh, well, yeah, work wise, or, just are you all set? Do you know what you want to do, kind of? And I didn't really take the time to think about it because I know I'm not set. I answered it right away, like, oh, well, no, there's still things that I need to set in my life. And she mentions, well, you know, these people are mentors that helped us out. Maybe, and I can't promise anything, but maybe we could talk to them and see, because it seems like you're a nice guy, you got a good head on your shoulders, that maybe we can talk to them and see to introduce you to them, and maybe they could help you out in a certain way like they helped us out. Is that something you would be interested in? I said, you know what? I'm open to it. Definitely. I'm open to meeting people and connecting. Um, I don't know if you guys have known this, but I'm not on social media at all. Although, okay, technically, do I have a LinkedIn account? Yes. Do I log in? Have I logged in? I haven't logged into that thing in like 2+ years, so I'm not going to count that. Technically, do I have a Twitter account that I have left over from my YouTube series starting up? Technically, do I have that? Yes. Do I check it? No. I got to delete that thing. I still get emails from Twitter. Fucking pisses me off. Blowing up my goddamn Umish email account. So this is how I like to meet people. I like to meet people like this, is what I'm getting at. I like the serendipity of it, the improvisation. I think it's really cool, and it's natural. I like it. So I'm open to meeting these people. I'm open to it because, hey, maybe God's got something. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. Like maybe God meant this to happen because I didn't have to go to the bookstore that day. I wasn't buying a book. I was just in there just to check it out. And lo and behold, I meet this couple. Um, I exchanged phone numbers with the guy. Guy texted me right away. I did not have my phone on me, keeping my phone away from me after reading those research articles about cell phones and the radiation. Even when it is on me, I like to keep it on airplane mode as much as I can. Um, so I get back home. I walk back home and I check my phone. He texts me. I text him back just saying, hey, thank you very much. It was nice meeting you. And at this point, I'm not going to push the situation because they said they couldn't promise anything. And James Dines has this thing, and it's not his thing, but he talks about it in his book, Mass Psychology, this law of countervailing forces, where sometimes the amount of effort you put into making something happen actually works against you. And my thinking here is that, okay, I'm not going to text this couple back because as much as I'm interested in this, that would eagerness would kill the situation basically. So I kind of let it slide. Well, a couple days later, I get a call. I think it was so that happened on Sunday. I get a call. I think it was Thursday night. I was training at jiu-jitsu and I have a voicemail after I'm done training, and it's the guy. It's the husband. And he says, "Hey, it's very nice meeting you." And I'm going to paraphrase here, although I did save the voicemail, but I won't play it. But it basically says, hey, it was nice meeting you. We talked to our mentors, and they're interested. But we want to get to know you a little more before introducing you to them. Please, give me a call back. Are you interested in this? And let's set something up that my wife and I can meet with you and get to know a little more about you. So I call him back the next day, and he says that yes, they would like to meet. They want to meet at a coffee shop where he lives in a city called Lake Orion, which is pretty far from where I live in Northville, Michigan. So we meet he suggests we meet halfway at a Starbucks. He sends me the address, and I kind of ask him like, okay, well, like how exactly? Because I told him like straight up, like, yes, I want to meet. I want to meet. Let's do it. 1:00 Saturday, which was yesterday. You want to meet? Let's meet. I'm open to it. And he sends me the address, and then I just kind of ask him a couple quick questions like, oh, how exactly did your mentors help you out again? And he says, well, like financially, they helped us out. And then also in our relationship, they helped us out. So we're going to talk about this after I'm done with the story. Very vague answer there. And then I asked them, well, how did you meet the mentors? Because you want me to meet them. Like, I'm trying to meet your mentor, but how did you meet the mentors? And they said, well, we met them through, I knew a guy that I worked with. This is the husband talking. I knew a guy that I worked with that introduced me to them. Again, kind of vague answer. He doesn't tell me where he works. Very vague answer. So those were the only questions I had for him at that particular time, and we set up a meeting, 1:00 Saturday, meeting at a Starbucks. And this is interesting, and we're going to talk about this too. He mentions this. He says, oh, our schedule is very busy, Chris. So for us to set aside time to meet, I want to let you know that we're going to be there. We're going to be there. And you seem like a reasonable guy, a very honest guy. good head on your shoulders, kind of stuff like that, that we expect you to be there as well. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna be there. That's what I said. I didn't say it like that, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. Then I get to talking a little more. I ask a couple of my friends. I tell the story to my friends. I tell the story to my dad, and some red flags have kind of come up at this point. You know, there's a couple red flags. Is this serendipity that's happening? Is this somebody that's wants me to meet somebody that's going to help me succeed in life? Or is this a recruitment? You know, my dad told me of a situation where he was delivering baked goods, because my parents have a bakery, and he delivered something to a bagel shop, and he's talking to the guy who owns this bagel shop, who's at the cash register, and he's never met him before. And the guy at the bagel shop was telling him ideas on how to make like gluten-free bagels. They exchange business cards and stuff. They exchange these ideas. They get a handshake on it and they go on their way. So take a look at that situation and my situation. All right. And see how the connection between my dad and this business owner is different than the connection I made with a complete stranger. And the vagueness of me meeting the stranger versus the specificity and the how else would you say it? The specificity and the, I don't know, not camaraderie, but the genuine like advice this guy gave my dad on how to make a gluten-free bagel. Two similar types of things, types of meetings, maybe not completely the same, but two way different results. So the thing that I start to think, all right, and there's a couple red flags that come up. Number one, the vagueness of this whole situation. I have no clue how these mentors helped out this couple. They say words like financially, with money, to get them set for the rest of their life. Like they use these words. But I don't exactly know how they accomplish this. And maybe you're right. Maybe, you know what, they don't want to reveal this kind of information because they don't know me. Right? And hey, that's fair to say. That's fair to say. But if you want me to meet with you, maybe, let's lay the cards out on the table. And here's another red flag. I told them a lot about what I do. Not a lot, but I told them, I grew up in this area. I do this. I used to do this. I'm trying to do this. And all I got from them was, she's a school teacher. I don't know what the guy does. To be honest, I didn't push for it. I didn't really ask. But I don't really know what they do. I don't know how they met. I don't know how they met the mentors. I don't know what the mentors exactly do. Hell, I don't even know if they're fucking mentors. I'm just calling them that to distinguish between two married couples, and the one married couple helped this married couple that I met. That's why I'm using the word mentor. I don't even know if that's the correct term I would call these people. And another red flag is the fact that the guy was basically calling me out to ensure that I meet up with him. All right. Y'all seen Wolf of Wall Street where when they're in the diner and it's the famous scene, sell me this pen. Go ahead, sell me this pen right here. And the guy, I forget his name, the big dude in the movie, I forget his name's not Donnie. Donnie's Jonah, and Brian is the other guy who ends up going to jail. But he's like, all right, you want me to sell you this pen? You want me to sell you this pen? Here, go ahead, write your name down on that napkin. Jordan's like, I can't. I don't have a pen. He's like, exactly. Supply and demand. Here you go. And he slaps the pen on the table. And Jordan's like, you see that? He's creating urgency. And I felt like the husband, by calling me out and saying, hey, you seem like a good guy. You seem respectable, good head on your shoulders, that if you say you're going to do something, you're going to be there. And our schedule's very tight, Chris. We expect you to be there, right? That's creating in my head, that's creating a sense of urgency and testing me that if I don't show up, that my integrity and my character is going to be tainted because I agreed with him that I am those things. So I got to go there, or else those traits that he described of me are not going to be validated anymore. They're going to be null and void, basically. So at that point, it starts to feel like a sales pitch a little bit. Starts to feel a little bit like a recruitment. Starts to feel a little bit like that, right? Purposely vague, trying to be mysterious, draw me in, right? And I got to meet with the couple again. I'm not even meeting with the mentors. The mentors want to meet me, right? But they want to know more about me. Why am I meeting with the middlemen married couple that I met at Barnes & Noble and not the mentors? So my friend Carl and I, who was on the podcast, he's a lawyer, we're talking and stuff. We're like, dude, I'm going to keep you guys in contact because if you guys don't hear from me in like a couple hours, call the police, man, because I don't know where I'm going to be. But it's at a Starbucks, it's not like I'm going over somebody's house if I was, I would, let them know like, yep, I have a CPL I'm going to be carrying, which is my legal rights. So yeah, you guys aren't going to do shit to me. But it wasn't anything like that. And I don't have a CPL. So we're meeting at a Starbucks, a public place, Well, here's the other thing that kind of triggered a little bit of like warning signs was it seems like when he was talking to me and he had mentioned he was they live in Lake Orion, right? I live in Northville. Let's meet up halfway. Oh, how about there's a Starbucks in Bloomfield. He knew the place that he wanted to meet. He didn't even have to think about it. He was like, oh, how about this Starbucks in Bloomfield? Like, shit, you just thought of that? Or how many times have you done this before? Right? How many times have you met people at this? So that kind of seemed shady to me that he just knew it right away. Like, this is where we're going to meet. Right? Like he did research on it before. A little bit shady, in my opinion. Didn't even have to think about it. So, a couple days go by. And my dad suggests that I just call him. First off, he said, don't waste your time. If you got stuff to do, don't go. And I thought, you know what? This is a great point. That's a great point. I'm not going to waste my time with it. I'm going to call this guy. And I need some answers. So I called them up actually the morning of Saturday, and we got a shitload of snow here. So already to meet in Bloomfield Township at the Starbucks, so probably like half an hour drive in the snow, add on 10 to 15 minutes for the fact that it was the first hard snow that we got here in Michigan, southeastern Michigan. So for me to make this amount of investment in something, I need some questions answered. I called them up. And I just straight up told them, I know we're supposed to meet today. This snow does not help that situation. And what is the objective of us meeting today? Pretty much my exact words to him. He said, well, the objective, Chris, is to know a little bit more about you before we introduce you to our mentors. We've introduced people in the past to them, and they just want to know a little bit more about you. So keyword right here, they've introduced people before. All right. Now this really seems like a recruitment type of thing. This isn't the first time that they've just stumbled on somebody out in public, potentially. I don't know. But this isn't the first time they've introduced people to their mentors. Why are they introducing people to their mentors? Maybe they're just good people. Maybe this whole thing is legit and they just want to help people out. Maybe. I then asked them, okay, so how many people have you introduced to your mentors? They said, oh, we've introduced a handful of people. And I said, okay, so the people you've introduced, how many of them are still in contact with your mentors? And I think this question kind of bugged him a little bit, because then he kind of turned it around on me. He said, Chris, what exactly, I forget his exact wording, but he said something like, what are your reservations? Like, what are you trying to get at? And not in a mean way, but just in a normal way, like, hey, so what are your reservations? And I said, well, I'm just trying to figure out what exactly this is. And he said, well, our mentors, they asked of us when they helped us out a lot of patience, and it took a lot of education. And they asked us for some patience, but eventually we got the hang of things, and we're better off. Something like that. I should have recorded the conversation. Because from what Carl tells me, in Michigan, you don't need two-party consent. You can just record with you don't have to get consent from the other party, basically. And so some trigger words here: education and patience. Patience signified to me that this is a long process. Education triggered to me, this isn't going to be free. Right? This is going to be like an online class, a learning course. I'm going to have to pay for this. That's what it triggered in my head. And I didn't tell him this, but. And then I just straight up asked him, are you a Scientologist? I straight up asked him that. He laughed off. He's like, no. I'm not a Scientologist. My dad told me to ask him that. At this point, I have everything I need to know. And I straight up just told him, you know what? Timing, this is not for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. But I am going to cancel the meeting. Didn't apologize for it. Said, yep, this is not for me. Thank you. And he said, oh, yeah, at this point, we'll pull it off the table. But, if ever you want to connect again, just let us know. I was like, yeah, probably not. But thank you once again. And God bless. And we hung up. And that was that. I didn't meet with them. And I think the moral of this story is that, and first off, I think that was the best decision I could make. Best decision I can make. And I think God really helped me out by making it snowpocalypse here. We got a lot of snow. Maybe that was God's way of saying, yeah, you shouldn't do this. Don't waste your fucking time. And I'm really happy I didn't. Because whenever something is too good to be true, it probably is. I'm not going to say it is. It probably is. And you know what? People are gonna, and I've experienced this a lot, people are gonna promise you things, and really they're just bullshitting you. This has happened a lot. A lot in life. In my life. So you gotta be really careful with where you get your information, who's feeding you information, who's promising things to you, who's whispering in your ear. Because honestly, there's nobody out there is gonna. I don't want to say nobody, but you can tell the difference between a true connection that's gonna help you out and something that you just do not want to waste your time in. You don't. Kanye West talks about this when he first signed Big Sean back in, I think it was like 09, 08 or whatever. And Big Sean came down to the studios in Detroit. They were interviewing Kanye. He freestyled for him. And Kanye, I think, signed him like a couple months later down the line. And Kanye said in an interview that he didn't give Big Sean advice until he signed him. Until he started giving him paychecks, he didn't give Big Sean any advice. Why is that? Well, could be skin in the game, right? Yeah, sure. You know, somebody off the street could tell my dad how to make a gluten-free bagel, but who the fuck is that guy off the street? Did he just read a fucking, or did he just watch like Top Chef and just told my dad about it? Or is it better to get that advice from the guy at the bagel shop who actually fucking makes bagels and he's got skin in the game and he knows what the fuck he's talking about? He's tested it. Like I said, he's got skin in the game. You gotta be careful with people. Gotta be careful. And honestly, there's nobody that's nobody's gonna fucking help you out. Nobody's gonna help me out like that. No. I've got some bad news for you guys. Nobody's gonna fucking help you out like that. No. As much as you want to believe in shit like that, that happens in the movies, you want to believe that's going to happen in real life? No. No. And will it happen? Sure. But I don't want you sitting around, and I don't want myself sitting around and waiting for a situation like that. Dude, it's up to you. 100,000%. It's going to always be up to you. You got to be careful with who promises you what. I was telling Mark this because I told him about the story, and I was telling him, in the Bible, Jesus warned his disciples that many are gonna come bearing his name, calling themselves Christ, but they ain't. All right. Nobody. There's only one. All right. There's going to be lots of people that come around saying there's something, saying they can help you with something. But the only person that can truly help you out is yourself. Right? That's what I learned from this situation. Don't waste your time. Don't play around. Get your questions. If they can't answer your questions, get the fuck away from them and move on. And do you. That's all I got to say, really. Wow, it's exactly midnight here. It's about time for me to get to bed. Guys, thank you very much for listening. There's going to be more to come. I'm thinking about what to do with this podcast. I really like doing these research articles, and my goal is tomorrow to get out get more into cell phones and radiation, but it might be time to split and do a dedicated podcast on research, studies, articles, journals, and have this as the thread be kind of more of this, more of just talking, having friends on, joking around, talking about sports, whatever else is going on in life. Yeah, we might do that just for clarity's sakes, and not things don't get mixed up, right? So you guys can have a playlist of electromagnetic frequency and then not have it play the episode I did with Mark right after it in the queue. Although that would be entertaining. Guys, that's it for me, man. This is a thread. I'm signing out. I'm going to go to bed, do some reading before, and then I'm going to go to bed. And then I'm going to train tomorrow because I have it off for Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day. God bless. This is Thread. Good night, y'all.